Welcome back to Galactic Historian Office Hours. Let's bring this into the office and start up the music. Welcome, everybody. My name is Paul Berserker01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender at the Astropub, your host and moderator on the Captain's Table, and your professor on Galactic Historian. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Hopefully you guys enjoy yourself here. Today, we're doing the office hours, which is just kind of like a chill stream. We're going to sit here and talk about Star Citizen, mostly. That's the whole point. I mean, we do Let's Chatting maybe later, but like this is the whole purpose is to discuss Star Citizen and Star Citizen lore and stuff like that. I'm going to watch Twitch this time. All right, Smithy, feel free to do so. The whole purpose of me streaming to YouTube and to Twitch is mostly to... retweet and spread the love, guys, by the way. Also, make sure you guys are getting in on our giveaway, September, September, in chat. Raven Queen, 30 months. Raven Queen's an OG. That's what she is. Absolute OG. You been watching on YouTube? Yeah. So a lot of it is a mixture. So like one of the major things we do here is to try to make sure that the YouTube audience knows that I have a Twitch channel and lets you Twitch audience know that I have a YouTube channel. Because a lot of people don't know that Star Citizen has lore and that I do extensive videos on Star Citizen's lore. And I've also been falling behind on that since I've moved. Sorry. I'm going to spend some time tomorrow and catch up on that. I'm just trying to jazz up the report a little bit, because I don't just want like a little wavy line. I want some pictures in there to make it a little bit more fancy. I just have to get down and do that. All right. Copy and paste this and put this into. Copy and paste this into. Star Citizen. Copy and paste this into the YouTube chat for those of you who are watching on YouTube. That's how you get into the September giveaway. All you gotta be doing is following us on Twitch and subscribe to us on YouTube. Both are absolutely free. So since a lot of you guys are already doing that, do it. You like the character office? I like it too, and I like it as the title. I think I'm gonna start adding things to the title. I want to thank Haskaha for that, because he's the one who did this. And as always, Haskaha, if you're here in chat or if you're hanging out somewhere else, if you like, because Haskaha, like I've asked Haskaha, like, hey, can I use your pictures? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. I try to give credit where credit is due whenever I can, because I don't want to like just take things, but. At the same time, I'm always like a little curious. I'm like, am I overstepping the bounds? Because it's like, oh, they gave me permission. Let's look through all of their pictures. Which one is cool? I'm using that one. You know, I've been doing that for a while. Like, let's see. Let me pull up the links of the people. Screw Haskaha. I should probably just put a command in there. These are the people. $2. Thank you so much there, David Stockton, for that. $2 on Super Chat. You rock, my man. Shots and cheers in chat, guys. Shots and cheers for that YouTube sub. So that's Mr. Haskaha. That is Captain Raul. And this is Glenn. These are the guys who I use a lot of their photos for like thumbnails and stuff like that. So... And I asked them, I was like, hey, can I use your photo for thumbnails? And like, they were all enthusiastic. Yes, please. I was like, oh, yeah, cool. Nice. So follow them on Flickr. Check them out. They have some really cool screenshots and use some really cool cinematics and stuff like that as well. They all are. They're all cool. They're all the coolest. Kind of a relaxing music here. I'm going to change this up, though. Go with Synthwave. Sounds good to do some synthwave. Hey, Dutch Oven, how you doing, buddy? So, I always like to start with just a topic of lore that I like to discuss. I mean, I've gone through a lot of the lore, but I feel like one of the things that's interesting... Oh, and I also want to show this off. 1 second, guys. This is really cool. Moves. Started looking through a lot of our old stuff we had in storage because we didn't have enough space in our apartments to put anything up, like into like posters and such. And my wife pulled this out of storage, and I forgot I had it. Exactly what you think it is. It is a map of the UEE with the location of the Milky Way to show you exactly where the stars are. I don't know if this is accurate because a lot of this stuff is out of the Milky Way. That might just be a background, but star map poster, official star map poster, because it has like all the star citizen stuff in the back. So this is a star map poster they sold for a little while. I forgot I had this one, so it's coming up in my office. It's gonna be put up in my office. So now I can just be like, what's the name of that system again? Some old artwork on here too. What the dashers are. Legend, where's your legend? Oh, small jump points. Okay. Yeah, you can actually see the pyro. So pyro to Stanton is a medium jump point. And pyro is connected to Terra. Wait, pyro is connected to Terra and Oso and Hadrian? This is probably before they actually changed the map a little bit. It might be. This says it has a small jump point to Terra, which is nuts. Oh. Yeah, I haven't really looked at it. We framed it and put it up. So that's cool. That's nice. And of course, as always, a couple things ways you can support us. So the Star Map is online as well. Okay, cool. I didn't know if that was or not. I didn't know that there was a small jump point from Pyro to Terra. That's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. For in terms of lore purposes, because you've got the anti Xeno threat in Pyro, controlling Pyro, and they've got a small jump point to Terra where they're super pro Xeno. That's some conflict that I like. It's for drugs. Yep, you can definitely see that too. Rapid Crab, thank you for retweeting that. And that tweet out. Spread the love if you guys get a chance to. All right, so let's talk about some lore. All right. I'm just gonna pull up. I'm just gonna pull up the Galactipedia. All right. Pull up the Galactipedia and see what's trending. All right, so we've got Commerce, Spacecraft, Xion, and Banu. All right, let's look at the animals, because they actually have 4 entries on animals. All right. So, I'm going to show this to you guys on the Galactipedia so you guys have a chance to see it. Where are you? There we go. So, it's weird. There's this. So, this is the blind Oney crab. So, the blind Oney crab is also known as the xiphopod. It's of an invasive species. This is kind of like the the rats of the Star Citizen universe. They kind of cling on to things. They're actually indigenous to Lear 1, but you find them all over the place. So they're found on Hurston as well. So this is one of the creatures that you'll find on Hurston. And that looks like some mean set of teeth. I mean, look at that. Look at them teeth. Sniffy job. You can switch to the Twitch subscription with Twitch Prime. Shots and cheers in chat, guys. Let's get some more beers in chat. Yeah, Pyro is a nexus, but it's a lot of it is small jump points, which means it's not as valuable. The Minox, yeah, kind of, yeah. They float too. they float around. All right, so Xiphopods, known colloquially as Blinonin crabs, are typically found on the worlds with hot grassland environments, but have also been found and highly adaptable to extreme conditions. They are considered an invasive species in the UAE. Their ability to float and propel themselves through air has made them a favorite subject of xenobiologists. Discovered during the initial planetary survey of Lear 1, several specimens were captured and delivered to the University of Rudder for study and classifications. The scientists named the new species Xiphopod and honor of its resemblance to the animals of the phylum Anthropodia. And genus Xiphosaurida. The surveyors who discovered the animal, inspired by the face and nose that can be declared the scene right here. Yeah. The front carapace were responsible for the more common name blind Oney crab. I guess kind of looks like a no mask, or like one of those like, it looks like a demon. It looks like a demon. The naturally found on Lear 1 in hot, warm, grassy climates near the sea level in their native environments. They spend their time hunting, scavenging for food, and resting. Xiphopods spend a part of their year in groups and split off and travel hundreds of kilometers to join other groups during mating season. Biologists theorize this behavior developed in order to ensure genetic diversity among the species. Their unique flight pattern occurs via a biological process. The Xiphopod converts surrounding air into hydrogen-helium mix and circulates it within its large hollow cavity. This allows it to float, but then it propels itself through the air by expelling gas from its body, which is incredibly light compared to its size. The most heavyweight adult Xiphopod ever found was only 10 ounces, 300 grams. They lay up to 1,000 eggs at a time. Typically, unintended eggs hatch in 13 to 17 days. The UAE permits trading of Xiphopods in order to discourage the spread throughout the habitable space. Hot, dry environment of Hurston has proven particularly hospitable to Xiphopods, although it feeds a variety of food types. It thrives off of biological waste generated from settlements on Hurston, and has been able to breed in great numbers thanks to the lack of natural predators. While Xiphopod hunting is encouraged by local government, for the poorest inhabitants of Hurston, the Xiphopod can be a food source. When roasted, the flesh of the Xiphopod becomes white and firm. The meat has a musty, sweet flavor. Interesting. They all float down here in Hurston. I won my battle against IP. So they actually, the line ran from my current bedroom from our master bedroom to the office, and it was kinked up and all sorts of messed up. So he installed a brand new line, and that fixed the problem. And then we had another guy come out, and he installed the line into my room directly. So now the line goes directly into my room, directly into my router. So no problems there. Looks horrible, but tastes great. You know, and for Hurston, that's a fantastic thing because they're also not that hard to kill. Though there's one problem. They're made of hydrogen. So what do you do when you shoot something filled with hydrogen? There's not giving away a great cat. I forgot to turn off the giveaway. Musty sweet. Pop and boom. Mini Hindenburgs everywhere. Imagine like chain reactioning one of these things in the game. That'd be a great improvised weapon too. That's happening. We're not giving anything away, so not right now at least. And if we reach 220 subs on Twitch, we'll do that. I don't know if we'll do anything on the stuff. Oh, thank you so much. Go Mit Yourself. What did you do with Noob? Was WoW, Ion or Inferno? Go Mit Yourself. I hope that's okay. I hope Noob and I talk a lot about these kind of things. I'm glad you were able to enjoy it. Ion or Inferno? Inferno. I mean, it really depends on what you want to do. Like, the Inferno is not going to be a great attack. It's going to be an infantry support. It's going to be an anti-ground, but you're not killing a tank with it. You're killing like an Ursa or troops on the ground, unless they have special damage boosts for it, which they might because it's a unique weapon. And the Ion probably isn't going to do a lot to capital ships, but it'll fuck up a Connie. Astro, we get a Xenosphere like game. Xenosphere. What is that there, Ricardo? What are you referring to? Inferno of Brrrt. Yeah. Instant crab cakes, yeah. Yeah, I just forgot to change the bot. Pop, 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 pop. Yep, exactly. There's the lore behind the Aries is very interesting because the Aries is actually being developed in cooperation with Bering. So Bering and Crusader are making the ship together. Essentially, Bering is like, yo, we want to make a big, angry gun that requires a lot of power. So it's a smaller size, but it's going to require all your power. So we need a ship that can be tough enough to survive that. And Crusader's like, we need a combat ship that can hit hard. So they merged. Xenomorph. Maybe. Probably not. Probably legally distinct Xenomorph. But like Geiger style, it was like H.C. Geiger. I can't remember his real name. H.C. Geiger. H.C. Virgo. Verta Geiger. I would probably have it. We don't have any references to it yet. So what do you reckon the first creature animal we will actually see in game? So they'll probably do multiple ones at the same time because they'll be working on them at the same time. But I believe you'll probably see the Pyro Crab or the Oney Crab. So the Xiphopod or the Pyro Crab. Just because the Xiphopod is a little easier to make. I mean, the floating is thing, but it doesn't require any locomotion. It just... And its animation is probably just like a loop. And the issue will be its behavior. I think the Pyro Crab will definitely make it in with Pyro. The Space Scout probably will make it in. I don't know when it'll make it in, though. You gotta remember that, like, I really hope CIG doesn't do this. I really hope CIG mostly just... Even if they did just one unique creature per major planet, that would still be incredibly a lot. So maybe one or two average creatures per system, and then just pile them in together. Because, whatever. Like, it's not, it's not to say it's not that hard. It's a lot easier to make. It will also make sense in lore. They've terraformed a bunch of planets. So planets that have, or creatures that are naturally adapted to humanity will probably be okay. But CIG doesn't want it to make just like cows and horses and wolves and, giraffes in game. They want to make it all unique and sci-fi. hence the Xiphopod. Ooh, I could see that. The Vandal having pet xenomorphs of some kind, some sort of like dog, xenomorph dog. Think we could Johnny Appleseed some planets with invasive species? I'm going to say no. I think you could, but I'm going to say no because it depends on how complicated everything is, how complicated their AI is. I'd just like them to have you like freaking aliens first. Do you think we'll see rats and other smaller animals on big ships and hanging and landing sites running around? Maybe. CIG, I feel like CIG is probably going to focus on like a handful of creatures per planet. So you're probably going to see like 4 or 5 repeated a bunch. And, you know, I know it ruins my immersion, but whatever. If they could get a palette of 20 or 30 creatures and just populate them depending on the type of planets they are, I'd be happy with that. You know, 3 to 4 per like grassland, you know, hot, you know, like continental, moderate, frigid, you know, like just a couple of them for this. I'd be happy. But right now we have 0. So okay, coin toss. You're asking if I can tell you if Squadron 42's story is good. I will tell you my opinion on it. It does not have spoilers. I will say that it is immersive. It is very dramatic. And it has a lot of elements of good old-fashioned action movies. It feels like like in terms of like the story, feels like a lot like a good, solid B action movie. Not like Michael Bay explosion, and it's not going to be like Christopher Nolan levels. But it feels like a good, solid movie for that. But it's 40 hours, so it's going to be more like a solid Netflix action series. I think that's the best I can say without saying spoilers, because I don't want people to have that. Would live in the sewers and create urban legends. I wouldn't be surprised if they just took the pyrocrab and shrunk it down and put it in things like the ArcCorp sewers or like in on Hurston or something like that. Yeah, I don't expect a Squadron 42 like Last of Us level storytelling. I'm not saying that it's a different story, but you know, I'm not saying that like it's going to be bad, but I'm just saying don't expect it to be something where people like critics are like, oh, all over themselves for it. It's just going to be like, it's going to be a good solid game. If you liked Wing Commander, you'll like this game. And I will say this, as much as I spoiled myself by accident, and I'll tell you the basic story. Talked to Diablos. Diablos and I were going through some old audio files that he had been given from old builds, because we were looking for a Tessa sound for the bacon line, because I was wanting to put that in like my. He's like, oh yeah, I'll try to find it. The problem is it's not labeled when they put the sounds in. They're just numbered, and so he had to look by like size. So we started looking through the shorter sizes, and we started finding sounds or signing like things from Squadron 42, and it was like, oh, okay, that's Mark Hamill. In some cases, you can hear Chris Roberts' stage direction in the background. That's how raw this audio is. So we just started going down this rabbit hole. At some point, we hit one of the twists, and we were just like, all right, well, we fucking spoiled ourselves. Let's just go for it. So I listened to most of it. I think the others listened to more of it. It made me want to play the game. Let's just say it did not make me go, oh, well, I know the story, I don't want to play it anymore. It's like, I want to see how that turns out. Oh. I'm not talking about any spoilers. I'm just saying like how we discovered this, like how I ended up spoiling myself on Squadron 42. And it might have changed too, because a lot of these files were old. I don't think I said any spoilers. Yep. That medbay has much more potential for infectious disease gameplay. I think a lot of that stuff I think is going to be a little bit simpler. A lot of the there's going to be a lot of gameplay elements that I hope are going to be kind of simplified, so that they're not super, because being super complicated makes the game not fun and makes it tedious to play. But you want enough elements in there to make it interesting. You know, you catch a disease while on a planetary expedition doing a job that's going to make you a lot of money. Do you risk it? You know, when you die, you may not go back to your Carrack. You may go back to somewhere other place, like somewhere further away, because the Carrack may not be equipped to do it, or you're too far away for the respawn to work for your Carrack, because you took down the Pisces. And so now you have to respawn, back at a hospital in the nearby system, so you're dead. And your crewmates need like enough people to be able to do stuff. So do you risk it, or do you go back to the Carrack and heal up? But if you go back to the Carrack and heal up, you're wasting time. You know. Hey, Odinson, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, exactly. The audiobook's nothing like living it. Big knot of Xenos, heretic. Hey, Cyberwolf. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I played 3 games so far. I played 3 games of Warhammer on Tabletop Simulator. I'm actually interested in wrapping that into like a once a month thing, maybe on the stream on like Mondays, maybe. If I can snag somebody like Loken or some other, somebody I know who plays Warhammer just to play it on Tabletop Simulator, because it's like a 2 to 3 hours. We can just hang out and play. Hopefully that would work. CIG will expand NPCs to have characters like Cyberpunk, i.e., New Brands, Hearst, and Boss Dude. Probably, yeah. They're definitely going to have more NPCs than we currently have, and they'll have more diverse NPCs. Now, the NPCs are going to be based off of templates, so there's going to be like 8 or 9 templates of NPCs. Not everyone's going to be unique, but they're going to mix and match some of those templates, I believe. So they'll have different templates that they mix and match, so they'll be randomly spawned, so you'll have different kinds of NPCs, similar to how you see a lot of games like RimWorld do it. So they'll have different characteristics that they're going to be doing. So you'll have like enemy types that you'll, or people types that you'll see. So. Loken's amazing. Yeah, he's a great guy. You'll be Death of a Spaceman, exactly. Like, you could just be dead. Here's speculation here. What do you think they'll show us at CitizenCon Digital this year? Surprise, ship, guaranteed, Squadron 42 update, or even release date? Feel like they're going to show something about Squadron 42. It's getting too close to release for them not to. And I will say this, if we don't see anything about Squadron 42 in CitizenCon this year, I'm not expecting it until 2022. It seems like, and here's my theory about Squadron 42. They have investors now. Investors who are part of the board. The board was not going to fuck around. They're going to actually get this done because they invested money in it. Like, not like, oh, I got a ship. No. Like millions of dollars. So Chris Roberts has a time limit. Like the team has a time limit. They need to get it done in a certain amount of time. So like as a result, and because since it's been like a year or two, and they were obviously originally shooting on releasing it this year, last year, they don't have a lot more time. I think they have maybe 2 years before bad shit starts happening. That's just because of the investments. That also seems like CIG also seems to be moving pretty progressively on a lot of the technology that ends up in Star Citizen that obviously came from Squadron 42. So that's my theory. But I think that we're probably going to get a big, like the Odin, the secret Odin that everyone's been talking about, likely be in there. It's going to be a big ship. Maybe the Xi'an like freighter or the mobile refinery ship, because they're getting the refinery decks coming out, will be sold as like a concept ship. I could see the mobile refinery deck ship being sold there as a concept for release sometime in mid 2021 or late 2021. Yes, CIG will do DLC, but the only time they've talked about it, they said that what they would do if they do DLC would be significant changes that would not affect the gameplay of everybody else, so they wouldn't be gated out of it. So it wouldn't be a DLC like Elite, where if you don't have this DLC, you're screwed. It'd be like, you can play as a Tavaran, you can play as a Xi'an, that kind of thing. So that's something that if they do DLC, it'd be way down the line. Bingo Winchester, hey Paul, what are the chances of Hull series or maybe a Starlifter release along with the cargo docks? 0. Not gonna happen. I think that they'll release the Starlifter soon, probably if not this year, then next year. The whole series needs a little bit more work, obviously, because they need to get those physics grids. But they seem to be tackling those physics grids right now. So that could be anywhere from 6 months to a year for that. Because docking is about when they do that, and they may not do docking and the other physics grid things at the same time. But they could be, because they delayed it so long that they may have all that stuff caught up now. What investors? So Real Exodus, there's a group of investors who, from a media company, I can't remember the name of them, they invested in CIG, and they're all members of the board now. So there's a board of directors at CIG. Chris Roberts is still the chairman of the board, but it's like Sandy, Chris, Aaron, and then these like 4 or 5 people who've invested in it. Raytheon 2, how did you do, buddy? Yeah, I'm sorry, Bingo Man. It's one of those things that I wish it would happen to, and this is one of the reasons why I was like, people think I'm like super negative on the game. I'm not. Like, if I hated the game, I wouldn't be talking about it. It's more that I'm trying to set myself up for realistic expectations. And the realistic expectations of CIG is like, it's just gonna grind, Maybe there's a point where they stop the grind and it just flips over and we start getting something that's more steady. But for right now, it's still the grind because they still got a lot of stuff to work out in the back end. Hey, Frankie. Has Squadron 42 been released yet? No. Just kidding. I know it's not 2037. 2077 is actually when it's going to come out. The Calder family. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. When are we getting Roads to Nowhere? Likely soon. Because they seem to be working on the outposts, and it seems like those, or not the outposts, the homesteads. And I feel like the homesteads are likely going to be placed on places like Hurston, where they can, and the only reason they do that is if they had roads, and so those roads would be put up there. So, pretty excited about 311 though. There's a lot of cool stuff in 311. I think it's going to be a good quality of life patch for a lot of folks. I just hope that its performance is good. And again, I know I'm Evo, and I couldn't tell you if its performance was good or not because I'm an Evo, but its performance in Evo doesn't fucking matter. What matters, not even in PTU doesn't matter. What matters is live release. What does the game look like at live? Because I've seen good, solid, stable PTU builds that get absolute garbage when they release. So it's really hard to tell. 2069, nice. Cyberpunk year? Exactly. That's why I joked about it. What's my favorite 311 song? I have to look up 311. I think I know which one it is, but I forgot all my 311 songs. No, I don't actually. I don't think I've heard a lot of them. Looking some of this stuff, probably all mixed up if I remember correctly. Only one book. Sunset in July? Okay. Beautiful Disaster. Oh, Beautiful Disaster is the one I've heard of. Yeah. Beautiful Disaster. Yeah, I've had a good PTU build shitty on live. Yeah. But not negative, just realistic. Better than disappointed. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disappointed in CIG. I just feel like CIG is frustrated at times too, because like you've got a team of people who are building things, and it feels like they're doing so slowly. And I think it's because we have all these teams who are waiting for everything else to get fucking done so they can do something. So when people go like, oh, they're making prisons and caves before they get like salvage or other things, like it's because they're done. Like they did caves, they're done. They did stations, now they did caves, now they did prisons. They're just looking for shit to do. Like that team is like, this is what we do. We use the room system to build things. What else do we do? So they're pointing them in directions that they can do stuff, so they're not just sitting there on their hands. So that's where we get a lot of these new things that come in that wouldn't be in the roadmap or weren't in the original vision. It's not like it's necessarily feature creep. I mean, it is stuff that wasn't directly like promised at the beginning, but it's also like if they didn't work on that, they couldn't be like transferred to another team to make that team work faster, because a lot of the stuff that causes teams to slow down is back-end stuff, which requires very specific personnel, like AI or network, which there's like maybe a couple thousand in the entire planet who work on that kind of stuff. So, oh, and I'm going to mention this for those of you guys who are here. I'll click that button. I'll have to do that later. But this is going to be a little bit of a paid sponsorship. Raid Shadow Legends sponsored us to stream on Sunday. So we did a stream on Sunday for Raid Shadow Legends. And they are going to give me a bonus of money if people downloaded the game on PC and tried it with the link. So I'll put the link in the YouTube chat as well. And I'll put it in the top stream as well, top comment. So if you download this and try it out if you haven't tried out Raid Shadow Legends, you do that and try it out past the introduction thing, I get a little credit for it. We did play it on Sunday. I hadn't played it before. It's actually a pretty good game. Fairly interesting, fairly intricate. And because it's free, and they do a pretty good job of giving you a lot of like stuff to keep you going, so it's not like they lock you out, pay us money. There's just a lot of ads that kind of get dropped in there. I went in there thinking it's like, this is going to be a mobile game on PC, so it's going to be all right. But I didn't think of that. I was actually having a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of intricacies you can get into if you really like it. So, all right, shilling done. Let's move on. Do I think they're going to be surprised us this year with combustibles? They're trying to, at least. You're going to make a new character when Star Citizen goes into beta? Yes, of course I am. It's pretty easy. Yeah, Aimless is right. So if you I know Salty Mike and a bunch of other people did it before, but it's pretty good. Played for 15 minutes just in case it had like a timer associated with it. It's just the timer is just beyond the tutorial. So once she stops telling you like the little intricacies, like the keeper or whatever her name is, when she starts talking, that's when you need to get through. But play a little bit longer to see if you like it, because it's definitely a game I could see people doing as kind of like a downtime game. Just something that's just like, whatever. Astro, on the next anniversary ship sale, what are the chances of me getting a Polaris with limited sales? I'm not a mathematician. I couldn't tell you the odds. it depends on where you live, really, because like what they'll usually do is with those kind of things is they'll do timed. So they'll sell a certain number and this time, there's a certain number, this time, there's certain this time. If you have the money and you are wise with your time, fairly high, because it depends on how many they sell, though. I'm still thinking about what to make as my main character for beta and beyond. Well, the glorious thing about Star Citizen is that there's no like skills involved, so your character is character. And as far as I can understand, because of Star Citizen's lore, you can always change the appearance of your character, but it'll likely cost you some money. You'll have to go to like a cosmetic dealer or something like that, some sort of, you know, dollar store cosmetic surgeon, and they'll change you to who you look like. That'd be a great way of kind of like doing a little bit of you know, trans representation in there, being able to like just swap your character out to whatever gender you want, you know. Not perfect, obviously, but it'd be nice. It'd be a nice little nod towards the community. As we start getting into body modification for like replacing your arm or your entire body, it starts to become kind of different thinking. It's like the cyberpunk thing. Gotta play all the game features. I don't quite know my path in the verse. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm going to be a smuggler. I feel like I'm going to try to do the bartending thing for fun and see if I can make money off of it. I feel like I can, but we'll see. You'll lose your eyesight staring at the stars. Yeah. I have a Mercury, but I'm going to CC you my referral to my referral P52 to 100i. But which version? The 100i? Not the fighter version. Anything but the fighter version. Anything but the fighter version. You can fit in a Caracold also, so and it has a quantum drive, so or it has a jump drive, so it can do better. Well, I guess the Pisces does too, but it doesn't have a bed. Hey guys, Lou. So yeah, what's the movie where Dennis Hopper was a space pirate? He had some interesting body mods going on. I can't remember that one. Was it just called Ice Pirates? Is that the one? Maybe I'm thinking the wrong one. All right. People keep mentioning like Nubifier, like. I think a lot of people are surprised that I have nuanced feelings about Star Citizen that aren't just CIG is great, everything is fine, because I don't want to like take a dump on developers' chests when it comes to like, it's like, yeah, let's not shit on the people whose job it is to just code. It's not their job. They don't make the decisions that the management does. They got to work the long hours, and it's still a job for them. It was Super Mario Brothers. Oh, it was yeah, Dennis Hopper played Koopa in that, wasn't it? God, Super Mario Brothers. Oh. Wasn't a bad movie. Weird Mario Brothers movie. Space Truckers. Space Truckers, yeah. Space Trucker. All right, let's continue looking at our creatures. So we talked about the Zyphopod. Double Dragon's better. Yeah. All right, so animals. It's supposed to be 4 categories. There's only 3. All right, so let's look at the banded vessel. Indigenous to Terra. It's a Terra 3 ship. It's a carnivorous saltwater fish indigenous to the warmer areas of the Anasazi Sea on Terra. Terra system, Earth, a popular aquarium fish. Banded vessels captivity have been bred to encourage docility and accentuate their deep blue vertical stripes. Cool. Banded vessels are identifiable with their ovular heads, protruding mouths, and deep blue-white stripes. These stripes can help them camouflage themselves amongst the seaweed and coral of their natural environment. They have squat, triangular dorsal fins, low-slung pectoral fins, and a broad, strong tails. Their mouths are lined with 2 rows of sharp, small teeth, which they can use for grasping and consuming prey. Over a 10-year life cycle, a banded vessel can grow between 40 and 50 centimeters long. Microinvertebrates, smaller fish, and zooplankton. They play an important role in the ecosystem, which keeps worms and other creatures from overgrazing on vegetation. A banded vessel has lost its mate, sometimes refuses to mate, so they mate for life. They're ready to spawn, they parachute, seek out appropriate spawning medium, usually a strong seaweed frond or sheltered coral surface. The female then lays eggs. Okay. They'll fertilize them, they repeat this process until they have laid up 1,000 eggs. The parents guard their offspring until they learn to hunt their own. About 1% survive adulthood. In general, banded vessels seldom venture more than 12 meters deep, although they've been recorded as depths of 15 meters when pursuing prey. Nice. A little bit warmer water, 24 to 25 degrees Celsius. Nice. Pretty cool. So will all 100 systems be added before 2050? No. I don't know, man. It's important to remember, here's the reality. It's important to remember that the systems in Star Citizen are not all Stanton. You know, Pyro is probably going to be done in by at least in like the next 6 months at the very like 6 to 9 months. So, and it's really started at the beginning of this year. So Stanton took 4 years, 3 years. Pyro will take 1, maybe 1.5. And that's a lot of like learning how to make new systems. So because they have the tools down, I think you'll start to see faster. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we got Nyx by the end of next year. Really wouldn't be surprised. Having Pyro, Stanton, and Nyx all done. So, and a lot of them are going to be empty. Like Nyx is completely empty. Pyro is almost empty, almost completely empty. And some systems have 1 planet or like 2. Some of them have a bunch, but they're all dead. Like there's only, I would say, 12 or 13 systems that are fully populated. And of the rest of them, there's maybe a maximum of like 20 that have like 1 big like landing zone. Something akin to like Hurston. But very few have 4 planets with 4 landing zones. Since Microtech has a mascot, and apparently info from the leaks of Orison is getting a mascot, what mascot do you feel ArtCorp and Levski and Hurston used to get? Okay, so Levski needs a tiny revolutionary. They would never, ever sell a plushie of what's his name? Anthony Tanaka. They would never do that. But they might, they probably wouldn't have a mascot. Their mascot would probably be just a raised fist. As for Hurston's got to be corporate as fuck. Something that's super, like, overly corporate. Yeah, I could definitely see a turtle for ArtCorp. They've already kind of put that in there. A giant foam fist. Because the thing is that you gotta remember that Levski isn't just, like, they're not just, like, outlaws in the sense they live outside the UE's protection. They're communists. Like, I can't put this, but they're communists, guys. They are communist anarchists. Like the most they do is they would just want the UEE not to pay attention to them, so they don't get crushed like a rat. So they don't like support pirates, but they're outlaws in the sense they live outside of it. Yeah, they wouldn't be a plushie. I think that Hurston Dynamics would have, you know what they would do? I think they'd have a sexy anime girl. Sexy anime girl. That's what they do, because that's Hurston's style. All gold and shit like that. Some ridiculously like voluptuous woman wearing almost nothing. All gold. Some giant gun. That's Hurston. Stone commies, you know it. I'd like the Marcorp mascot to be a tortoise, you know, because that also kind of is like the hardworking turtle is kind of like a not like, I guess it's a cultural meme in the back in the day. Lorville needs this person on the chair, standing on the chair. I still think that standing on a chair should be a behavior for the AI for rebels or for insurgents in various places. It's kind of like the umbrella. Like the umbrella is a sign against it's an anti-fascist symbol because it's what Neville Chamberlain used to carry around, and so people would carry umbrellas and protest. Because of as a way to protest against fascist sympathies. Vocaloid Hurston, you know it's got to happen, man. It's either got to be super overly sexy or super cute, like overly cute. They're definitely they're anti-tyrant for sure, but you should listen to some of the audio files from the air traffic controller from I forgot his name. Like, man, I haven't been to a concert in years, man. Maybe when we free all the people from the corporate overlords, we can do this sometime. T-posing for Silent Dominance. They're not T-posing, they're just standing on chairs. The block rubber get bullets and tear gas, yeah. Couple sitting down. Weren't all planets run by corporations fascist by definition? Corporate, I guess. It's more corporatocracy, kleptocracy. There's some term for it, where it's like a company or own government. There's some term for it that I'm missing. But there actually exists. Hello Kitty Hurston. I can see something like that. I don't think every planet needs its own mascot, but I think it's easy enough. I think that's easy enough for branding, that CIG can create a mascot for almost every major planet. Maddie, thank you so much for the retweet. Retweet and spread the love, guys. No, I was going to say, I played three games of Warhammer 40k, first 3 games on Tabletop Simulator. In the past, I only played like 2 or 3 before that when I was younger, and I lost all of them. My first win today. Before the stream. That's why I was a little late because we were running late, and I was playing against an Eldar guy. He was pretty cool about the whole thing. But I managed to outpoint flank him, which is essentially I have a guard army. All I did was just bum rush my guard to the points and then just sit on them while I had bigger, meaner troops threaten the other ones. So I just plopped my butt down on points and did the right kind of maneuvers so I could just constantly get points in one. So corporatocracy, thank you. Soundgarden's Jesus Christ Pose is the T-Pose theme song. There we go. I approve. I can see why people enjoy that game, though. It's really fun. I'd love to see something like that in video game format with that level of dynamics. You do a turn-based version of that, you know, on a video game. It'd want to because it would replace the tabletop. I don't think it will. I'm curious if you ever see Sadaball played by NPCs professionally. I'd be open to seeing that. We'll see if they can fix Sadaball with push-pull. Do we have any idea what CIG plans for drones? Yes, they're all going to be man-made. They're man-controlled. So a drone is going to be controlled by a drone controller, a drone pilot. So they'll get into a chair and they'll basically like control it as if it's first person, but they'll be able to control it or something similar to that. The drones are designed for, at least right now, repair, rearm, and then you can also do a drone for retrieval of mines. I feel like they're probably going to expand drones out to do basically anything you want them to, but you have to get very specific types of drones. While we're at it, let's add 30K into an in-game event. The 30K disaster. 30,000 citizens died to an unexplained phenomena in the Amazon system. It could be, like, you could easily slip that into lore with, let me look at the collapse jump point for Star Citizen. I always forget the name of it. Oritani. So the Otoni system. The Otoni system, we could say is, you could easily say something like, it was the 30,000th trip for that ship going into the Otoni system. Or it was flight 30,000. You know, just kind of its flight number when it disappeared and it collapsed. You know, it'd be interesting. Yo, Maddie, how you doing, buddy? Can we get a follow command from Maddie LaRusso for listening in Twitch? Yes, it's, oh gosh, what's the name of it? It's right by, it's Corbin, or no, it's Emperor Corbin. Cronus system, the Cronus system. Which is itself got jump points to Branagh and Kellogg. And I want to say the Branagh system is where the Tavarin is the largest Tavarin group. Yeah. And then Kellogg is where you have a fair chance world. I want to say it wasn't too far away from where we are. Yeah, and it goes to the Odin system. Yeah. So Odin to Kellogg, Kellogg to Kronos, if you wanted to go there. So it's only 5 jumps away from Stanton. So how likely is the CIG debate debuts AI fauna at CitizenCon, an event for 3 weeks? I'd say I wouldn't say very high, but I wouldn't be surprised if they debuted it. Because anything you see at CitizenCon could be months to a year away. CIG's been trying to do less of that, so they're focusing more on the short-term goals rather than the long-term goals. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Pyro again or we started in Pyro with the system that they're doing for that, but. From what I heard from the leaks guys is that it's in. This is of course from leaks, so take it with a massive grain of salt, with a mountain of salt. That they were able to get it in, and they're working on it. They're not finished with it, obviously, because they've talked about how they're working on the initial scopes for the moons of Pyro 4, and it's like Pyro 6. That's where Ruin Station is. That's not really the issue. The issue is mostly that they want to figure out how to jump from system to system. So they can't get it to work. Essentially they can't get it to work with server meshing, but they can work it with server meshing. It's just there's a different ways that they can approach it is the issue. Seems like they're back to their old tricks with Pyro. Well, I mean, I think Pyro was initially supposed to come out sooner. And I think the reason why it's delayed is less to do with it being done and more to do with the like back end servers not being functional enough. No, we're not getting Pyro this year. I mean, like, I know the leaks guys believe we are. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. Like, and you know, even if it's like, if it comes in, it would just be horrible. It would be an absolute nightmare because you'd have to transfer between two servers, which would just be kind of like a really shitty loading screen. Like, oh, you're loading into the Pyro system, so you don't even have jump points. It's just a shitty loading screen, which would then be detrimental because building that whole system up would probably take more time away than just building server meshing. Commit yourself. You already mentioned done it. I don't know if you heard me say that. I saw that already. The $2. What did you do with what you did with Noob was WoW, Ion or Inferno? Or did you tip through stream elements? Because that may not be up. It should be up. I may not have it up on here. Yeah, I may not have that one up specifically up here. Yeah. Any of the alerts. Let me pull it up. Streamlabs. Oh, $1 from today. Go with yourself. I cannot afford to sub, but keep pushing to CIG to interact with the community. GG. Thank you, Go with yourself. Was that what you're talking about with Nubifier when you said that earlier when you tipped on YouTube as well? Yeah, it's a good thing. Interacting with the community is not a bad thing. It's important that they interact with the community. And the thing is that here's the reality: people are shit. People are absolute garbage. Trust me, I'm a teacher. It's my day job. I know people are horrible, and that's just from me. That's, you know, talk to anybody who's a cop, a firefighter, a doctor, a nurse, or an EMT. People are garbage. People are human garbage. Like, they're just absolute fucking fuck all. We also see them at their worst sometimes, but you know, it can happen. And so if you're a developer like CIG is, you're going to get people on their shittiest days where they feel like they can lash out at you. Oh, also frontline workers. Anybody who's ever worked a cashier or customer service desk knows what I'm talking about. You know, they just happen to be the fucking punching bag that day. So, like, that's going to happen. But that's a rarity. That's going to happen less often if the more you talk. Because those people will eventually just blow out of steam, or you'll learn to ignore them. You grow some thicker skin. Nice, man. That you have a lot more like patience than I do if you're doing that. Hey, Nicholas, how you doing, buddy? I didn't see that coming in there. Space Piranha. Yes, that's what we were talking about earlier there, Phantom. Was the Space Piranha. I'm moving back and I see a bunch of things I missed. I'll take a loading screen as a placeholder, but Lixton, would you take the loading screen as a placeholder for Pyro if it meant that server meshing would take another year? If you could get Pyro by, let's just say, March with a loading screen, but you wouldn't get server meshing, instead of getting server meshing at the end of next year, the initial implementation is the year after that in December, would you take that? That's the question. That's what CIG is essentially kind of figuring out is, do they want to just ad hoc a system that would work now, then go back and completely replace it and risk massive tech debt in doing so, or wait until they have that system ready? That's the question. I don't think so, man. I would say no. I'd prefer a more firm system that's not going to fuck up if it happens later, because they can add a lot more stuff in local servers. Because it's not going to increase the like adding a loading screen will not increase the player cap. That's all. It will not increase the player cap. The Capital Crusader ship Genesis, the Star liner. Yeah. Do you think it's something they want to do, or more of a lore ship? Yeah, they sold the Genesis Starliner. Are you talking about the Jupiter? The Jupiter cargo ship, the heavy cargo ship, the one that was actually like a carrier. That's more of a lore ship, but I think they a lot of their lore ships they keep in the back pocket, like the Aegis Bearcat, which is the competitor to the Hawk when it came to UEE, like a UEE thing bid. So. Question, how much of the Paraline is still intact? If another Cold War starts between the Xi'an and humans, has it been dismantled like the Berlin Wall? Yes, actually it has. A lot of the Paraline is actually settled by both humans and Xi'an now. There's a couple of places that have both human and Xi'an settlements on them that are on the Paraline. A lot of the Paralines, though, was like uninhabited systems. We're talking about systems that had nothing in them in the first place. Most of the Paraline has been dismantled because it's expensive and it doesn't serve a lot of purpose if you're trying to if you're in a détente with the Xi'an. Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that they have like 90 plus open jobs, but often what they'll do is they'll fill those jobs and then it'll go down to like 60 and then like 30 people find new jobs. So they have to find more people to replace them. It's just normal. They're basically constantly at 90 people missing for their jobs. Is Stanton the biggest human system other than Terra and Earth? In terms of its development, yes. Stanton is the third largest system in the UEE for humans. Terra is there's Earth and Terra is bigger than Earth in terms of its development. There's a lot more systems that are like Pyro than there are like Stanton. Let's just put it that way. Like Magnus is like if you took Hurston. That's what it is. That's it. It's the only system. There's like, and I can't remember the name of the planet that's in Magnus. Goss, maybe? No, it's a system. Berea, Magnus 2. By the way, guys, I've been meaning to promote myself a little bit more on this. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this right now and you haven't already subscribed, please do on YouTube. If you're watching this and you want to follow us, please follow us on Twitch. On tomorrow on Twitch, we'll be doing some more Star Citizen. We'll be practicing some more combat more than just smuggling, because I need to get myself some space legs for Star Wars Squadrons, which comes out in October. We'll be playing that, and then Saturday we'll be doing we have a tabletop RPG game we play every Saturday. I call it the Spice Must Roll. It's a sci-fi themed one, so every season we do a different game with a different cast. And so, like this season, we're doing Star Wars Edge of the Empire by Fantasy Flight Games. Jake Acapella from the Relay Station, he is the one who's doing the GMing. And then myself, Darj, Papadolvac, and Atomic Zero are players in it. It's really, really fun. We've had some blast playing it so far. And so you should just join us on Saturdays to watch that. Then afterwards, we do the Captain's Table live. So. Last I saw ZishaCon is mostly going to be a long Star Citizen live. No, it's not going to be live. It's going to be pre-recorded. It might be live in the sense that they're going to do it live, like play it live, but it's going to be all pre-recorded videos of the show. Smash the like and subscribe. Well, let me do this right. I've got a good one for the likes and subscribe. Comment for the comment god. Likes for the like throne. Feed the algorithm. The algorithm gods demand your sacrifice. Do I have a YouTube link? Yes. I'll just put it. I'll type in chat. .com slash the Astropub. There we go. And if you want to follow along, .com slash the spice must roll. That one too, because I haven't done that yet. Those are both ones. So the Astropub is where I put my Galactic historian videos, so lore videos. If you haven't already done so, go check it out. I do a lot of basic tutorials for lore, so I kind of walk through what Star Citizen is, what the universe looks like, and then into more depth into various topics that deal with things like the UE government, the Navy, the Tavaran, the Xi'an, the Vandul, the various planets and governments and companies that exist in the verse, that kind of stuff. So. Hey, Melchior, how you doing, buddy? He's all great. I'm glad, man. Thank you. Thank you for watching. I'm a derp, so I'm glad you do. We've been kind of going through some of the creatures that they have on the Galactopedia. The last one's the Flow Pet, which is new. Ooh. Leland's tortoise. All right. Turtle. All right. So, there is a species that exists on Sol that exists here, that exists in Star Citizen. It is Leland's tortoise, which is the one that you guys see on ArcCorp. Right there. So, they have a glossy shells with minor color variation around the shoots and edges of shells. Extremely docile. They're kept as pets by humans, especially long-haul spacers. Overcollection and habitation destruction have made them nearly extinct in the wild. Leland's tortoises have smooth, dome shells, shades of green, yellow, and brown shell. The shell is relatively smooth, even if the tortoise is marred in harsh conditions. The shell shows little to no skewed pyramiding. The edges of the shell flare out slightly at the sides. The plastron is usually yellow with green edging where it connects all to the shell. The back ends okay. Tortoises are foragers. Leland's tortoise populations are in 2875. The conservationists attempted to introduce a tortoise to Lo, Coral 3. However, Banu residents of the planet consumed it in an unsustainable rate. Banu want to kill Xi'an. That's all I'm going to say. Banu are killing baby Xi'an, guys. The ambassador to the Xi'an empires. Xi'an want their kids back, yeah. Oh. Frickin' Banu. It's actually illegal to own one that's been captured instead of captivity bred. Okay. You actually get arrested for capturing one. They don't want their kids back yet. Click that bell. And of course, as always, like I said very early in this chat, we're still kind of sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, so I'll put that in the click that box somewhere. It says this includes paid promotion. I don't know if I can do that right now because it doesn't seem like that exists on the options. I'll put it in there though. So I have hashtag ad on Twitch. Oh, there we go. Boop. Hit it. There you go. Sponsorship. Paid sponsorship endorsement. There we go. Exclamation point raid in stream chat, in Twitch chat, on YouTube. I'll put it up there as well. Raid Shadow Legends sponsored us to stream their game. Paid me to do it. I was like, yeah, it's all right. We'll take a shot at it. And I hadn't played it, liked it. It's actually pretty good. And if you guys download it and try it out past the tutorial, I actually get a little bonus credit for it. So if enough people do that, I actually get a little bit more money. So please do it. If you want to support the channel and you don't happen to have any cash or anything, that's the easiest thing you can do to support us. Do that, try it, download it, test it out, and then maybe you'll like the game. Who knows? In chat as well here. How big is this space crab going to be? Monstrous. I believe the space crab, the pyro crab, is like the size of a Connie. It's huge. It's if not size of a Connie, it's like cutlass sized. We're not talking about like no tiny crab, not even a person-sized crab. They've showed it like in perspective with a human. This thing is massive. It's a building. It's a moving building. For his car back, yes. Server meshing is not only player capacity; it's everything. It's everything capacity. It's a lot of stuff. I think a lot of the capacity has to do with, honestly, iCache though. That may be able to increase player counts. I don't know if that's true or not. There's a lot of just like things they need to do to improve the number of players to reduce the amount of loads. In the making for the verse, we don't know exactly which are developing right now. We know which they've confirmed that they've been doing concept art of. I don't know if they're actually beyond concept art into development. The critters are the blind Oney crab, the I guess Leland's tortoise, the Microtech Yeti, the pyro crab, the space cow, the Kazi grazer, and the blind Oney crab. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but the blind Oney crab as well. So there's like 5 or 6 that they've talked about. There's also the flow pets and a couple other ones that they've mentioned in the past, but we haven't really seen any kind of concept art of them. The murder bears are supposed to be on Microtech or somewhere else. Microtech. They're supposed to be inhabitants of frozen worlds or colder worlds. Yeah, I think we'll get underwater gameplay, but I don't think we can get it at launch. There's a lot of stuff I don't think it's going to get at launch. Like, for instance, building outposts, like the Pioneer. You know, I feel like you'll be lucky if at launch we get piracy, smuggling, and like bounty hunting and like the basics, let alone like all the other crazy stuff. Oh yeah, and whales. Yeah, we've also the space whales. Yeah, there's also the Xi'an critters that they've concept. I can't remember the name of them. They all have a bunch of names. I have the Santok Yai, I think is one of them, which is actually the name of one of the ships. The Santok Yai is also the name of one of the creatures. That's why they named it after the creature, which was a flying predator. So it'd be like the hawk. So Davey, Sea Beast, PX, BDX Panzer, Apex Omega Gamer. I saw OG Tech subscribed to Tier 1. Odinson for 3 months at Tier 3. Thank you. I didn't see those. You guys rock. Shots and cheers, guys. Shots and cheers. Let's do some big money, no whammies up in here, because I've been trying to follow everything at once, which is a bad idea. Retweet and spread the love as well. I think they'll probably build. P-52 is Intergalactic. As Kruger Intergalactic is a primary part builder, do you think they'll build any more ships after the P-52 or stick to their roots? Probably another ship, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the subcomponents that are being made for components, because each component has a subcomponent in it, or multiple subcomponents in them, are Kruger Intergalactic kind of things. Like the Zisters, I think is what they're called. For the weapons and stuff like that, the stuff that's going to like reduce your rate of fire because of overheating and such. That those might be Kruger developed, items as well. Putting together my Outrider squad while I watch this. Congratulations, Cyber. What's the Outrider? That's is that that's Space Marines? Space Marines. Capacitors, thank you. Capacitors. Playing 40K has made me go, you know what would be really good? A Star Citizen tabletop war game. But not with, like, tabletop figurines, but like the X-Wing game. Like, spaceships. Space Marines. What alien race do you think will be first in the verse after the Vanduul? My bet is the Banu. Maybe. Yeah, because we haven't seen anything with the Tavaran. Probably the Banu. Maybe the Xi'an. I played the hell out of it. I think it's pretty cool. It'd be pretty cool. I also just got hit by the 40K bug during all this, like, lock-in and a lot of free time, I always bring it up because I spend time on it when I'm free. Not much anymore, but this dude I'm very proud of. Ugh. There you go. Seen pretty well. I'm really proud of what I did with him. So, yeah, I've got a full guard army that I'm building. It's, about 1,000 points now. Oh, Bugman's Glow. Skin is one of those things that I don't really want to, like, go nuts on, and Bugman's Glow works. Cadian. I'm doing a little bit of a fluffy build. They're Cadians, but I've also got one more thing, and then we'll get back to it. Talk about Star Citizen. Been primed, but I got this Sergeant Ripper. He's actually a veteran sergeant model. Not a lot of detail on her because, I'm trying to get the zoom to work. Autofocus. Yeah, she's been primed. This is the special anniversary one you can get. She's Katachan, but I figured I could use her as a company commander because she's already got a bolt gun and a chainsword, which is pretty much what I do anyways. Works pretty well. Yeah, the base comes with it though. So like this is like all this stuff is just a special anniversary one that came together. How hostile will the Vanduul be to humans? Will they attack us on sight? Likely, Ricardo. They'll likely attack humans on sight. Oh, my plain Jane. Well, most of my bases are plain Jane. This just came with the model, but I'm definitely going to be adding some more detail to my bases. So I've decided to fluff up my my guard unit a little bit and say that because of the fall of Cadia, there's a lack of trained officers. So a couple of units of she's from Katachan, and then there's another one that I have for my kill team who's thematically a Valhallan. So he's a Valhallan. So we have a Valhallan officer who's a platoon commander, and then her, which is a company commander. Then I've got other things as well. So I basically said oh yeah, they're filling in those ranks. So it's a little bit of a mixed. The officer corps is like half non-Cadian, but I'm still playing them as Cadians. Can I do it, Captain? Yes, aimless. So Vanduul are very hostile. Like, likely in just terms of like gameplay things, they're going to be hostile, but in lore, Vanduul don't even stop attacking Banu. Like, it's like a toss-up if a Banu ship will get attacked by a Vanduul or not. Probably more likely to get attacked than not. Planet broke before the guard, dad damn it. Vengeance for Cadia. I thought that was a Cadian only one. I've now realized that that's not a Cadian only stratagem. That's an Astra Militarum one, which is just like, okay. The entire guard was pissed about that. Brad, 40k lore is pretty freaking awesome, though. It's very in-depth. I think it can scare people away. But most of it you don't really have to worry about. You can pick and choose what you like. Yeah, each clan is unique. So, like, that's the problem and the advantage that the UEE has, is that Vanduul clans are not united. So if the UEE is fighting a Vanduul clan, there's they'll only be as powerful as that clan. If another clan shows up, they won't help that other clan, likely. They probably could even fight one another. They're that kind of, like, aggressive territorial group. So, who knows? Heresy. Everything's fucking heresy. Do I watch 40k Battle Course online? All the time, Costas. All the time. Winters, gosh, it's just like a number of them. There's one that's a skirmish gaming that I watch. He's a kind of a newer one, but he does all the smaller ones, which I like. Will you be able to join one of the clans? No. Like, they're going to be entirely hostile. Vanduul are entirely hostile to humans. They're just going to be always on top, a fighter for you. What's your favorite ship in the verse, and what's your favorite ship among the yet to be released ones? Currently, it's toss-up. Cutlass Black, I would say, is my favorite ship. Though, if I had to choose between a Cutlass Black and, like, say, a Freelancer Miss, I'd choose a Freelancer Miss. The Freelancer is always better. The Freelancer is just a better ship, and I enjoy it, and it will always be my favorite ship. But I have a soft spot for Drake, because Drake is a working man's ship. Don't give no fancy frills. You just want more guns, more DACA. More DACA, more maneuverable, go faster. It's an orc ship, god damn it. Speaking of 40k, Drake is an orc ship. They consider you food. Yeah, I mean, everything is food to a Vanduul, though. I don't remember the reason the Vanduul have even been firmly defeated is because they have no homeworld. Yes, that's the downside. Is like, the upside is that they're all divided. The downside is that you'll never defeat the Vanduul unless you genocided them, because they don't have a homeworld. Hey, Calvin, thanks so much for that 24 months. Whoa, 2 years of the bar at it's the Hotel California of Star Citizen. You can't never leave, baby. Thank you so much there, J. Calvin, for that 24 months. Shots and cheers. Big M, it actually does. I believe it goes faster. The blue goes faster than all of them. Listen, different universes, all right? Different universe. Orcs in a different universe. But it is a very orky ship. It shouldn't work. What planet is the name MISC from? Musashi Industrial Starflight Concern. It's from the Centauri system and Saisei. So Saisei, which is one of the very first planets humanity ever colonized. It's like before the UPE. The UNE, actually, was founded. It was discovered by an American group, I believe, and sold to a Japanese company that was the Japanese national company. So it's like, I think it was a company that had most of its, it was run out of Japan, but it was international, and it bought the rights to terraform and build to colonize Saisei. This is why the UNE was formed, because shit like that happens. It's just like, who the fuck is in control of Saisei now? I guess the Japanese, because it's a Japanese national company, but there's other people who live there, not just Japanese. It's not like Japan, the planet now. They just own part of it, all of it. What's going on? So, but Saisei has a lot of like Eastern inspired architecture and stylings to it. It's one of the like kind of paradise worlds of the UE, and it's been around for a long time. And it borders on Elysium, which is the home world of the fucking Tavaran. It was literally the front lines of the First and Second Tavaran War. The Battle of Centauri in the Second Tavaran War defeated the Tavaran fleet. That's where Squadron 42 made its name for itself. So, Jake Alvin, isn't there not a capital size jump point into Vandal space as well? We don't know. There's a lot of jump points which may exist that we haven't found from the Vandal areas. Oh, fun fact: the Leland's tortoise we talked about earlier, Sol 3, so Earth, Saisei is also where you can find them, Centauri 3, which is where Saisei is, and Locke, which is Idris 4, which is where the Idris is built. Well, Musashi is a very traditional Japanese name. That's probably where it came from, was that. Yeah. It's also where the homeworld of where, Tor, I think it's the name, which is a sister planet, is where, technically where Tumbril was developed. But there's another planet, there's another thing on Saisei, I can't remember what it is. Sakura Sun is from Saisei, I believe. No, they're Earth-based. I remember this. There's one other company that's in Saisei. Those are Japanese province, yeah. So it makes sense. I mean, a Japanese company. I would say the fluff lore for that, likely, they haven't said this, is likely that the company itself was founded in Musashi Prefecture in Japan, or that's where the founder was from when he moved, and when he moved to Saisei, he founded his own company there. It's also it was a merger, I believe, of a bunch of different companies that formed MISC. Yeah, but MISC is the Mitsubishi, the Toyota, the Honda of Star Citizen. Nice. Didn't know that. Paul Allen recently discovered the Musashi shipwreck. Free Tavaran. Eagle scream. Whee! Evening Zap, how you doing, buddy? Of Microsoft, he likes to go shipwreck diving. He's got a bunch of crazy gear. Nice. Honda plus aliens. Yeah. Well, not really aliens, because they're not aliens. They're just not Earth. It's technically aliens. Who is Miyamoto Musashi? Who is that? He a famous, Japanese figure? Probably. There's a famous swordsman. Yeah, I know Musashi the swordsman. I've heard of this guy. Way of all things. One Wheel Load, and thank you so much for that. 18 months of Prime. You are a very important pupper. Very impressive pisser. You rock. Shots and cheers and chat. Give you some more beers. Centauri is the Empire. Not the Centauri Empire, but Centauri like the... Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like the Empire. Centauri is the system, though. You're talking about like Babylon 5 Centauri, right, Man Solo? One of those swordsman fighter guys. They use the big flashy thingy and fight things with honor. Well, it's hard to tell because, like, people just default assume that, like, all famous Japanese figures were samurai, which is dumb. Yes, it's. I think it's spelled the same way. They're below that. Centauri is the same place. All right, I got that, even though it blocked it. Oh, you mean that, like, Battlefield or Battleship Yamato? Is that what we're going for? Huh? We're going for this Battleship Yamato. Is that supposed to be the Musashi? I haven't seen Battleship Yamato really, so I saw the movie. It was pretty cool. Where they raised it from the depths. The live action movie. Maybe I want to watch the anime. Need that hair though. I expect all of the Centauri memes, the Centauri Republic memes, to come out from when Centauri system comes in. When I am 70 years old. Thought she was her sister. Yeah, I know that. Well, I remember the lore behind Battleship Yamato was like Earth was fucked, and so they the Earth, like the oceans were receding or something like that. Like Earth had become like almost a desert wasteland. So when the oceans receded, they found the Yamato underwater, and so they started to convert the Yamato into a spaceship because it was like the hull would work. So they turned it into a spaceship and launched it into space to go fight their alien enemies. That's what it was. Are there religions in the lore at all, like the Covenant from Halo or the Mormons from Expanse, the Xi'an warrior monks, Tavaran cult, anything like that? Yes. Rijora, which is a dead religion, was the warrior ethos of the Tavaran. You have there was a Xi'an. I'm looking through it real quickly. We've got a bunch of the houses. I'll definitely do some Galactic stories on the houses. The Great Divide too. Yeah, this is Xi'an. There we go. Is it Litova? I think maybe. Yes, Litova is the religion of the Xi'an. Litova is the central code of the ethics of the main religion of the Xi'an people. It was established roughly 33,900 BCE. So well before humanity ever crawled out of the Neolithic era in humanity. The core of Litova centers around the concept of time, specifically the intent and effect of all actions throughout time. No matter small, it was codified into Xi'an law in Imperial Order 19474 BC IO, which was 19,747 BCE, by Yale Se Emperor Rua, the only surviving daughter of her house, and the first Xi'an emperor. A dedicated commune to Litova exists on the planet of Kaiupa 3, which is where they have the Centennial Balloon. So the Xi'an's religion is based on ripples in a pond. Because they live for so long, all of their actions, even tiny ones, have long-lasting effects. So the religion is focused on the concept of time and how time and your actions have such wide angles, which is one of the reasons why the Xi'an are very careful and cautious and very secretive about everything they do. They think that humanity is reckless because we don't care, because we only have like 150 to 200 years in time of Star Citizen. Like our lifespan is much shorter than the 1,000-year lifespan of the Xi'an. So we live life fast and hard, not really caring so much about our actions, where the Xi'an find that abhorrent. Yeah. Which has also caused a reflection, because there are many Xi'an youths, people who are, you know, I don't know what youth is in Xi'an, I guess first 100 years, who are inspired by humanity. They think that humanity takes risks, it's bold, and they've developed, we've been able to catch up with them super fast, even though they've been to the stars a lot longer than we have. So they're like, hey, humanity's going to surpass us in a generation. One of our generations is gonna pass. We need to be like humanity. We need to start advancing, start taking risks and being bold. Yeah. What's the update on elections of 2950? Slow. Slow. One of the big things is, like, it's already done. I could pop it out like a normal, and I might just do that, and just try to work on the report format a little bit later. I just want to update the report format a lot, because it's super old. It's basically just me talking, waveform, and then things on a screen that move so you can know what I'm talking about. It's essentially an audio format that I just put on YouTube. It's not as popular, though it does get some views. But I prefer to add more visuals to it. You know, this is no shade on other lore people, but it's only a slight bit lower than normal lore videos on YouTube. Though I can't say much. That's pretty much what I do. Nice. Yeehaw, brother. K-Bach. Hope that helps you then, Nicholas. I'm glad you enjoy it. There's a lot of interesting stuff in the lore. Ujora is very interesting, because, like, the second Devaran War, the first Devaran War was essentially like, oh fuck, we're overpopulated. Humanity is here. We can unite. They're our first contact. We can unite our people by punching humanity in the dick. So they united the people to punch humanity in the dick, and humanity punched back real hard. And then the Second Devaran War was a holy war. It was a crusade, to retake their homeworld. It was not just we need to do this for our people. It was, our religion demands it. Die for your God and your country. That's why when they defeated and they knew they were lost, they just dropped their shields and burned up in the atmosphere, trying to die on their homeworld rather than killed by humanity. There's also the Church of the Traveler, which is a human religion, which is all about finding peace and tranquility in movement, in constantly moving, meeting new people, engaging in new activities, exploring the frontiers. It's again like Litova and Bujora. It's not like they have a giant golden idol that they worship. But they're more philosophies, but kind of like Buddhism in a similar kind of way. Wanderlust, yeah. Wanderlust as a religion, as a codified religious philosophy. The other one, there's actually two gods in the Banu pantheon. God of Luck and the God of Trade are the two main ones. In fact, the entire Banu government is run by priests. Because the Banu Protectorate, Yeah, Banu Protectorate. Banu Protectorate is a loose confederation of planets of various different types of governments all over the Banu Empire or Banu space. But the Banu meet together to discuss, like every so often, to discuss laws, and those laws are specifically like very loose, but bind all of them together. And the leader of the government, the people who make all the decisions and make all the tie-breaking votes, is a group of monks that live isolated from the rest of Banu society, who worship the two gods of the Banu, the god of luck and the god of fortune, a god of trade, essentially. There are religions in the Star System universe. We don't know about the Vanduul, but I imagine the Vanduul are like ancestral worshippers or like some sort of war god. There's only one true god. The evil holy Kali cult of Chris Roberts. The God Emperor Chris Roberts. Undertale? Yeah. He sits on his Bangle throne and keeps the great verse, keeps all the jump points open. Underrail. Oh, I never heard of Underrail. Oh, just a mistype. Does Asperia only make ships with and ship weapons, or do they make other types of replicas like armor, FPS weapons, etc.? There's nothing in Asperia's lore that says they don't only do ships. I think they specialize in ships, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make alien weapons and armor and stuff like that. I wouldn't be surprised, for instance, if you could buy a replica Vanduul Spearblade, though I don't think they're very effective weapons. The Vanduul are scavengers. They are not exactly like perfect warriors or perfect engineers. Their technology is really lacking compared to humanity. It's all about as brutal as possible and as up close as possible. So what they lack in technology, they make up for in size, strength, and pure ferocity. And Synth World, yeah. He keeps the Vanduul from invading. It's a post-apocalyptic game where everyone lives in an underground subway. It's pretty neat. Oh, so something similar to like Metro, but nice. Oh, buy a round of beers. I didn't see that. Let's do that. Metro's cool. Metro's fun. Yeah. I wish you knew about squats from 40k. They if they had a religion or anything, the Warhammer Fantasy lore for dwarves is pretty deep. People want them to bring it back. They want to bring the squats back in a big way because they've actually kind of been brought back, mentioned in 40k recently. So. There's a company that makes reproduction alien weapons. It made a pistol that can fire a shotgun blast if charged up. That's supposed to be a Banu weapon. Oh yeah, the shotgun blast one. Yeah, let me look that up real quickly. Is it even classified as a pistol? Bearing weapons. It's classified as a shotgun. not seeing it in my lists. Huh. It's called the frag pistol. Yeah, the salvo. Headley Gunworks. Look at that lore real quickly. Founded by Alturius Hedeby, whatever. After an early life working on a scrap foundry in Tram, he learned metalworking and began a small backyard forge in 21. Initially combined gun repair work with experimental weapons modification, creating his own weapons using new designs and old techniques. Traditional pistols and rifles became popular with locals, but Hedeby wanted to put his mark on his field. Taking designs from Banu style learned from Ekstrom, he created the salvo frag pistol. So it's not an actual Banu weapon, but it's designed in stylistic to the Banu. Softly now? Never. No. Oh, that's because you all caps. When were we surrounded and precision? Probably closer to Squadron 42. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jian and Vandul, possibly even Tavarin. I mean, the thing about the lore is that the lores that Tavarin are pretty common in the UE Navy, so I wouldn't be surprised if you saw them. And they may be hiding them because of Squadron 42. It also may be just not make sense to put them in there yet. A side note, there's a new HeroQuest board game coming up soon. I heard that, yeah. Have they mentioned how far out alien life forms are from the PU? No, but they've been in the concept stages for all this year, so I'm assuming probably another year. That's just my own personal estimate, back in my butt pull kind of guesstimate. Has Cig said anything specific about this year's con, or not yet? They said specifically it's not going to be a live event, that it's going to be pre-recorded videos, but it's going to have an in-game element as well. That's all they said. I don't think the salvo was an alien repro. No, it's not an alien reproduction, but it's designed. Specifically, the lore says, taking designs from Banu style learned from Ekstrom, he created the salvo frag pistol. It's what Hedeby did. Hedeby. I got it again. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. From the Psychic Awakening, yeah. There's like 4 Necromunda models and squats. Hopefully, more than a fan service. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. I'm serious though. Like, I think that may be something I do when I have more time, which is never. If I find myself like content and looking for something else to do, I might actually. Well, I originally was doing a Star Citizen RPG. I might just start developing a Star Citizen like squadron battle style, like the war game models we do on like tabletop and kind of stuff. I might do something like that for fun and release it for you guys to use. Hey Max, how you doing? Do you think the lore is predictable, considering how much it's based off of true events? I think it's a lot of it is predictable, but I think a lot of it is also unpredictable. It's predictable in the sense that a lot of the lore is planned on happening, but the actual events happening in them are not. Because CIG is very much concerned about players having agency in the world. and they want to make sure that the players drive all the major factions and all the major things that happen in the universe. So that doesn't mean like the players are going to be the only things that happen. There will be other things that happen, but the players may be the deciding factor. How many players join this one faction, this battle, or how many help support, financially this one corporation or group might change the entire outcome of the universe. So that's the kind of like there's like Star Citizen's lore is built around focal points of story that are waiting for players to show up and interact with it to decide where that goes. And then, similar to Litova with ripples in the pond, those ripples will go out and they'll change. So the lore team at CIG is much more concerned about building the framework. They're scaffolding the lore rather than like fleshing it out, because they want to have that scaffold up to look nice enough so that the players come by and build that lore, build that building, and then they'll kind of redesign the building as it goes up. But the foundation is there, and they've been building the foundation for a long time. So there's a lot of foundational work of the lore, which is most of what I've talked about. But things like Synthworld, the Devarin, the Vanduul, the Earth Devarin War, Terra conflict, the Duel, I already said the Vanduul, the Xi'an kind of Cold War conflict stuff going on. There's lots of stuff like that where players can have influences on it. It's not bad. As long as they focus on like drawing from history is not a bad idea, and as long as they focus on the right things, like focusing it on the story being interesting and engaging, but also advancing the narrative. You 17 subscribers, not bad, guys. Thank you so much for that. All that support, and we got some cash on YouTube as well, about $3, which is nice, and $1 in on Streamlabs. So it's been a good night. Yeah, I haven't played Star Citizen in a long time too. I think the first time I played it in almost a month was last week, just because of all the moving stuff and craziness. Would you help build on any lore that's currently in the game? What lore would you expand on? So what's currently in the game, and I'd like to see more of, is the conflict between the current underlords, I like that name, underlords of crime in the Stanton system, which is the Climshaw Parn, which is what I'm calling it, Syndicate. It's a group of smugglers and drug makers and runners. Wallace Klim, Eddie Parr, and Shaw. I don't remember his first name, but those three, Shaw's on Hurston, Eddie Parr's on Microtech, and Klim is in Grimhex. So in like Crusader. So they work together to spread drugs around the system. Now recently, the Otoni Syndicate, I think I'm saying it right, Otoni, maybe the Otani, or Otani, I can't remember which one. They have moved into Stanton, and specifically it seems like their leader, it's what the Otoni do is they send in a scout team of agents, of people, like soldiers as it were, into a system, and they act like a franchise. So they'll build up from the ground up. They don't use their influence necessarily. They use support from the main syndicate. But the Otoni Syndicate is kind of like the Yakuza. They're everywhere. They're everywhere in everything, and they're a shadow. So they're legitimate, but also not legitimate. You never find out about it. And their success is that they're a franchise rather than a single unit. So you destroy one Otoni Syndicate in one system, you would rip it out by its roots. They don't know anything about the rest of the group. So there is a franchise that's being set up, an Otoni franchise being set up in ArcCorp, run by Ticia Pacheco. She's the front runner for it. There is a conflict. All of the stuff that Ticia has you do is for the Otoni Syndicate. Specifically, the drug raid is on one of the Climshaw Parr Syndicate's labs. So that whole mission is actually her just sticking her foot right up the ass of that syndicate group, and I love it. I want gang wars. I want that gang war so hard. I want to play that out. I want to see where it goes. Or Tony Braxton. Is it true Port Olisar is going to get destroyed? We know that Port Olisar is going to get replaced. We don't know if it's going to be destroyed. I think narratively they could destroy it and it'd be really fun, but it would be kind of janky because like it would just be destroyed off screen kind of thing. Yeah, see, that's been going on for a while. I've been wanting more of that to be fleshed out. This gang war in Stanton, because that's like canonically that has been one of the major things that's causing the crime wave to hit Stanton, is this conflict, because the companies can't do an organized defense because they're on through all the worlds, and each individual is operating out of different planets. Hurston is Shaw, ArcCorp is Pacheco, Crusader is Klim, and Microtech is Par. So they all are operating in their own jurisdictions that are different from each company. So they've had a hard time kind of tracking this down. And because the UEE doesn't want to get involved because it's expensive, they haven't done so. And this is what's led. Like Jumptown is owned by the Klimshaw Par Syndicate, I believe, in lore. I mean, a lot of people say it's the Nine Tails, but there is no indication that the Nine Tails own it. Because well, I guess there's some references to them, but Par and Klim and Shaw are the ones that move most of the drugs in and out. But I'm like 90% sure that all of the named drug labs are owned by that syndicate. Deprioritized. Eddie Par looks good, but hair tech doesn't work yet, probably, or there's other issues there with him. He's probably pushed way back, so. Nope, he's the bartender. He owns Wally's Bar and Microtech, that club. There are two Crusader Security quest givers which are going to come in when Orison comes in. Orison. Pretty cool stuff, right? You like seedy underbellies, then Magnus is your place, buddy. Canonically, if I was going to place a character, if my character was going to be from one place, my character would be from Magnus, because it's the crossroads of legal and legit and illegitimate business. It's where Drake is formed. It's like Space Detroit, but worse. I haven't looked entirely up on him. I know there's a lore piece on Wallace Klim, though. There was one for a while, but it was really early on. We'll probably see it at some point. What's my thoughts on the Armistice Zones going away? Hell, it's about damn time. That's my thought. Pretty good impression. Come on, Jimmy. Find me something to shoot. What subject do I teach? History? Social studies. So history, yeah. History, economics, government. It was a stopgap. There's Armistice Zones. But yes, history, social, economics, government, sociology, psychology, geography, that kind of thing. But Armistice Zones were a stopgap. They were designed initially to prevent players from trolling one another, but didn't realize that people would troll each other with pad ramming. So everything that's been having to do with pad ramming is just an extension of the problem with Armistice Zones. Because the concept was they had Armistice Zones because they didn't have NPC security yet. It wasn't working properly. Now, this was back in 2.0. So. Yeah, Armistice Zones have always kind of been more harm than good, because I think since, especially recently, it's basically just been a license to be a dick to people. He lost his kitten on Crusader when he was a kid. Oh, to Crusader? Damn, that's some rough life. I have to look that up then, Nicholas. Streamlabs? Oh, I'll check Streamlabs. Sorry, it's not. It doesn't really updated. Think of that $2 there. There, go meet yourself. What non-pillar tech or hashtag value-added added gameplay are you most excited for? This is a hard one. There's a couple I'd mention. I think the big one is probably the big one would probably be furrowed brow. Probably medical gameplay. I mean, the trading kiosks are big. I'm really looking forward to trading taking more time and being a little bit more complicated, as well as push-pull mechanics. But medical gameplay, because it affects so many other things. Not just medics in terms of like combat, but it also affects things like piracy and bounty hunting. It affects things like, survival systems a little bit more. And it'll open up a whole new support class for Star Citizen, where people with Cutlass Reds can actually help people out. I think that's probably what it'd be. Yeah, the reason why it says paid promotion, I'm not being paid to on YouTube for Raid Shadow Legends. They sponsored me to do a stream on Sunday, so I did a stream on Sunday with them. They paid me to do it. I played the game. It's actually pretty fun. But they also gave me some stretch goals. They said if you can get people to download the game and get through the tutorial, then they'd give me some bonus. So I've been trying to get the word out there for you guys to use that link in chat. Use that link if you had a chance to, if you're on YouTube as well. If you're watching this later, if you download it and you get through the tutorial before, I think, next Sunday, I get a little bonus points for it. So if you don't have any money and you want to support the stream financially, that's one of the best ways you can do it. Just try it out, and it takes like 10-15 minutes, and who knows, you might like the game. I played it a little bit, and I found that I'm probably going to download it on my phone for like some sessions and stuff like that. Looks like that medical gameplay is actually coming sooner rather than later, based on that sneak peek coming with the medical gun. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, is that I think a lot of Star Citizen's, I said earlier in the stream, I think a lot of Star Citizen's development is just waiting for pillars. So they're just sitting around waiting for other stuff to get done so that they can like do the gameplay they want to do. Yeah, it's still shilling. It's it's called astroturfing or I think that's one of the terms for it. I may be using it incorrectly because I know astroturfing is when you go to places like Reddit and start glowing about something even though you're paid to do it. It's fake. It's instead of grassroots, it's astroturf. You know, it's a fake grassroots kind of movement. I guess that term would kind of apply for that. Still shilling. They still pay me to say it. They didn't pay me to say it's good. If it was bad, I wouldn't talk about it. But it's fairly good. And I was surprised a lot by a lot of its mechanics. It's still freemium, but it's like you could easily play that game and have fun and do literally none of the paid expansions. It's that good. We'll see. I mean, like everyone's saying, oh, once this is done, once that's done, things going to expand. I can't tell you if that's true or not. All I hope for is more steady release. If we get one system a year or two systems a year in the next couple of years, I would be fucking over the moon. You know, that would mean like a handful of 10 systems at, you know, some detail level of as Stanton would be fantastic. Next year, I think we had prisons this year, medic next year. Well, we'll see if medical gameplay works. You know some story about medical ship missing in lore, like Endeavor, Hope, Crew? I don't know. I'd have to look that up. The AstroTurf. That should be what I call my shill streams, the AstroTurf. The Outer Worlds had a lot of collectibles and rewards for completing quests that were put in your ship. It'd be cool if you had collectible rewards like that you could stick around your ship. A ship full of a full functioning bar would be cool. They had that with their hangars, the hangar flare. I would 100% believe that if they could, they'd move that hangar flare into the ships as well. They'd let you do that. I think systems will come faster once the tools are developed. It's more than the tools, it's also the team, because they're building a team in Montreal with that behavior. I always want to say behavior. Turbulent, I think is the name. Turbulent, they're building a team with Turbulent specifically to make systems. So I think Star Citizen's a grand masterpiece of scam. Hell of a scam. Hell of a terrible scam. Because they used all that money instead of running off to buy cocaine and buy a mega yacht. They're making a game. I don't think Terra's going to come. I think Terra's going to be... So, there's a couple of references early on about their plans for beta. Because their initial plan was to go to beta with 5 systems, is what they said. We've coined it, the Inforunners and I and other people have coined it the line of 5. The line of 5 systems are 5 systems which are all lined up by jump points. Stanton. Next to Stanton is Pyro. From Pyro you have Nyx. Why Nyx? Because Nyx is already done. Nyx is just Levski and Delamar. That's the only landing zone. So it's simple, you just have to build the planets. And they know how to build planets pretty quickly. It's all dead worlds anyways. And then from Nyx is directly connected to Odin. Odin starts Squadron 42 is the basis for Squadron 42. So once Squadron 42 is out, Odin's system is pretty much done. You just port it over to Star Citizen. So you've got 3 systems in a line right there, 2 of which have already gotten a lot of assets done for them. So then you have so that's 4 systems, and the 5th system would be Terra, because there's a connection from Pyro to Terra, as well as other systems from I think there's a direct link from Terra from Stanton to Terra too, as well. So in a large jump point. And Terra would be the crown jewel of beta. It would be at that point of doing Terra, they would definitely be entering no wipe beta, soft launch kind of thing. Bingo, they're not hiring from that company. That company is simply the management company. $300 is $400. Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to remember that probably 100 to 200 of those. Well, let's say around 200 of those are actually building the game in terms of coding, animation. A lot of those are artists. A lot of those are support staff, QA, business staff, that kind of thing. Well, I mean, the jump points, they can make the jump points work. It's not, the issue isn't the jump points. It's the tech behind the jump points. Hey, Loken. Hi, buddy. Loken, I had a crazy idea. I've just played 3 games of Tabletop Simulator Warhammer 40K. Lost 2, won 1. Did pretty well in the 2 I lost. I lost on points, and I just got wiped in terms of the. I got timed out in 1, timed out in turns, and the other one I lost the objective, but I was playing an overpowered chaos character. So, one of the things I was thinking about doing once a month, maybe on a Monday or so, is bringing some streamers together to do Tabletop Simulator 40K. Just one stream of it, like 2-3 hours. Hang out and do that kind of thing. Lass and Nurgle, yeah. Sounds good. 3 years from release. Well, soft launch release. Yeah, this Star Citizen CIG's studio, in terms of you put all of the non so not counting Turbulent. If you count all of other CIG studios, like around 600 employees, they're bigger than Bethesda. They're bigger than ZeniMax, which included all of like id, Bethesda, a bunch of other ones. Well, the thing is there's a community that streams Warhammer 40K, but most of them do tabletop stuff, like the actual tabletop. Tabletop Simulator exists, but it's not really popular. Not a lot of people stream it for some reason. I just figured, why not? Yeah, and Xbox just bought Bethesda, yeah. It would be me being terrible at it, because I'm still figuring out things like wound rolls and up saves, and I 100% would expect chat to be screaming at me with tactics, like what I'm doing wrong. Xbox by CIG. You know, funny enough, I think that what would be more likely to happen isn't Xbox buying CIG, but I wouldn't be surprised if CIG was purchased by Amazon. Chris Roberts might do something like that if it was a deal where he could still develop the game and he still had all control, but Amazon was just the money bags kind of situation, and he would just release, you know, some sort of deal like that. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened, if CIG became part of Amazon Game Studios for that reason. I first bashed when my daughter was born. She's the first grade now. I'll be skipping the entry sale for a few more years to buy her first car. It'll be pretty funny, except for it's probably true. I mean, bingo. Let me put it to you in perspective. WoW came out when I was in college. I have gray hair now. WoW is still being developed. It's still being worked on. Now, Star Citizen issue is that it's still ways away from its 1.0 release. But again, I'm pretty sure that beta, when it releases, will roll into. Yeah, no, Roll20 is a great low barrier for TTRPGs online, but I really like the aesthetics of Tabletop Simulator, and I've learned a lot about it. It's pretty fun. They've made a lot of mods for it, so. A lot of that was internal, too, because they actually started building with Warhammer 3, Warcraft 3 engine, and it fucked up, so they had to build this engine from scratch, I think, after that, for the first, 3 or 4 years. I mean, that's it's all proper development, right? But the argument that a lot of people say is, Chris Roberts said that he started early development in 2011. But that was a lot of that was for the demo, which was eventually tabled and scrapped. He essentially made a proof of concept, because his goal was to make a proof of concept, raise some money in Kickstarter, and then get investors for the rest of the game and finish the game through that. And that turned into the crowdfunding campaign entirely. Yeah, there's some pretty impressive things you can do with TTS. Fallout 76 isn't an entirely new engine. It's the creation engine. It's just a modified version of the creation engine. No, I know. I get that, Bingo. I get that feeling. I just like to put things into perspective like that, because like when you start thinking about it, we're just in an era of weird games. You know, Eve was first made in 2005, I want to say. So it's 15 years old. People who started playing Eve, if they had a kid when they start playing Eve and they're still playing today, are going to high school. That's how long it was. Yeah, Adam is right. Tom's right. Hey, Tom. Uh, 2001. 2000. No, I think it came out 2005. It was when I was in early college. (2004). Came out in November of 2004. So it's 16 years old. I thought it was 20 years old, but yeah, 16 years old. We have great guys and girls working video game programmers in Quebec. It's why Chris put his hands on the Montreal team. I think it's because he has a lot of, like, they have a lot of respect for the people in Turbulence. So I'm hoping good things happen there. Because they're building the team from scratch. Like, this isn't like Turbulence building it. They're building a team from scratch with Turbulent. Assuming it's a little easier to do. Yeah, but they also had a lot of stuff like that. Do I have kids? Not yet. If I mention my kids, it's my students. That's what I shouldn't do. But I would say, like, for most people would say that the proper development of the PU started somewhere around Arena Commander or 2.0. That's when you start seeing actual development of the game, which was around 2014, 2015. I think 2014, 2015 was when you start seeing. Well, 2014 is Arena Commander, 2015 is 2.0. So, and you start 3.0 in 2018, I want to say, and then we're 4.0 probably by next year in 2021. Played it a couple times, completely got wiped, didn't like it, got shit on by the community, and left. It looks like a good game, but it's just total annihilation. I mean, sorry, because I gotta remember this because some people are just watching this on YouTube. So it's like, what the hell did he just say? It's like total annihilation. I played it a couple times, got shit, did terrible at it, got shit on, and left. Son's 8 years old and it makes Star Citizen look old at times. It does. It can. I mean, Star Citizen's been in development for 8 years. It's just unusual because a lot of video games take a long time to develop, but you usually don't see it from the conception of the game, which is what we see with Star Citizen. Does Xylo talk to you guys, community leaders, correction creators often? Xylo's a friend of mine. Like, I consider him a friend. Like, professionally speaking, yes, I talk with him professionally, but I also talk with him, just hang out with him, and talk with him, kind of thing. You know, I would consider him a friend. I consider a couple people in the video game industry friends, who I also have done work for in the past. You know, it's very, the video game industry is incestuous as fuck. There's just, you'll find people moving around. Xylo used to tell me about a story about the video game developers in Austin, where every time a major studio would do a layoff, the people from the various studios in Austin would put together a big party, and they would all come together, and the people who lost their jobs would go to the various companies present, and they would all apply for jobs in those companies. So as a result, like a lot of people who work in the video game industries in Austin have worked at ZeniMax, have worked at EA, have worked at Blizzard, and so on and so forth. We've got a lot of different studios down here. So, and that's not just Austin. That's just Austin, let alone the entire planet. There's so many people who've worked on so many different video games in the video game industry. So, a lot of that has to do with Cig's internal marketing stuff. They seem to be hesitant to go on a podcast. And I've said many times, if I got like Xylo and Jay Lee to come on to a podcast, the Captain Staple, I probably wouldn't talk anything about Star Citizen. Because it's just no point, because they would just get the same shit that everybody else does. What interests me about the developers of Star Citizen isn't Star Citizen so much. It's about their histories. It's about their inspirations. Like for Jay Lee, I'd be like, okay, Jay Lee, what do you like to draw? What got you into art? What kind of stuff do you draw in your free time? What do you look for inspiration with Star Citizen? Is it all Chris Roberts' ideas? Do you find some stuff and pass by it? What's your process? With Xylo, it'd be like, what was your experience like in the video game industry? What was your what is it like interacting with the community? Like, if I talked with any other developers, it'd be the same. It's like, what is your background? Where do you come from? Where's your philosophy in gaming? So we can understand more about how the game's developed. Because I feel like we can understand more about Star Citizen by talking to the developers like that than we would if we asked, when's Salvad's coming out? When's mine gonna get better? No, just ask them these things, because you start to understand the thinking process, the work process of these individuals and the leaders of these teams. So it makes a little bit more sense as to like how they communicate, why they communicate, what they do, what they prioritize, all of that, because it's all individual. There's no like standardized systems. That's never going to happen for me. What's my perspective on big ships? I lean more towards solo ships because I don't want to fork out of hundreds of dollars only to be dependent on others to actually use it. Yes, solo ships. I think Star Citizen is going to be one of those things where your raid gear is your Bengal, your Idris, your Javelin, your Polaris, that is your raid gear, but your daily grind gear is your freelancers, your cutlasses, your maybe Connies, Corsairs, maybe like those kind of things. Things that you can use solo, but are better improved with multiple people. But you don't need a ton of people. You need like 3 or 4 people to help you out. Molly has a lot of experience. Like she worked with Paladins before she worked with Star Citizen, so she has a lot of experience in community development, at least from Paladins. I don't know if she worked at another place before that, but it'd be fantastic to know about her own philosophy in terms of like the different communities she's managed, how the things she's learned by being a community manager, that kind of things. Not really. Here, let me link you guys the Discord real quickly. There's a Discord for it. There's a Reddit for it. So I'm going to pop the Reddit into both these chats if you guys are interested. So this is an active community. They have a Discord for it, which is where they play most of their games. I've played 2 games on that, and I did a Crusade game on another one that kind of is linked to this Reddit, or this Discord. It's a growing community. I think it was founded in July of this year. So, and they use a specific mod that they created, which has 9th edition rules, and they update it frequently. You can find models on the workshop for almost all of the armies. So, if you're interested in 40K on TTS, that's where you go. It's a little expensive though, because I think it's like $20 to get Tabletop Simulator. So it can be expensive, but you should have Tabletop Simulator. if you're a tabletop fan, you should have it. I say that it's a little expensive talking about in Star Citizen. $20 is a little expensive, guys. Well, if there's $150 ship, this is a good value. I'm a software engineer. I'd hate it to be a game developer. It seems to be like such a roller coaster. Kib, it's essentially the same job you do, more crunch, less pay. Xylo's a great guy, yeah. Logan's right. Xylo is a good guy in general. Talk to him about skateboards. So watch his streams. He streams a lot. If you guys don't know, Xylo streams. Twitch.tv/Xylo. He streamed a lot more recently too. He's gotten into more streaming on a regular basis, which is nice. God damn it. All right, we're gonna wrap it up here, but Cam just sent me a message on Twitter. Oh, I have a mighty need because Quest just released peanut butter cups. Freaking keto peanut butter cups, man. Oh. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. We don't do keto. We used to do keto. We do kind of a keto light, but they always need those. Yeah, they always do. Dib, could you please just beat them over the head and get them to to hire a designer, or just tell Chris that the design is bad. Fix the website. I don't want to shit too hard on Turbulent because I don't know how much Turbulent has control over the designs, but there's a lot of complicated design in the Star Citizen website, robertspacindustries.com, and it makes no goddamn sense that they don't have starcitizen.com. Because it redirects you to Star Citizen's base radio. Heard any news about the Endeavor? Yes, it is endeavoring to be released sometime before I die. Endeavor is not going to come out for a very long time. It's one of those things that even back in like 2014 or 2015, CIG was like, yeah, it's not going to come out until well after release. Pub Party RBG. Chips are great, yeah. And no, Cam's not pregnant. I know she'd be pregnant because she'd be like, I like a steak. You know what Cam's favorite snack food used to be? I don't know if she still loves it, but was pickles, whole pickles, sour cream, and nacho cheese. Not even joking. Yeah. So those are her cravings on a normal day. So I know that when she's pregnant, she's going to be like, I'd like a cheeseburger. Okay. It sounds like something that someone who's pregnant would crave, but not. For pickles and ice cream, yeah, it won't happen. Like when Cam's pregnant. When Cam's pregnant, it's going to be like midnight run for like McDonald's. Stoner food. It depends on the nacho cheese. Yes and no. Usually nacho cheese, I think the reason why nacho cheese is called nacho cheese is because it often has stuff added to it. So it's like cheese, but it's also like, I've seen some nacho cheese that have like jalapenos in them, or I think there's some other substance they use more than just cheese to make it a little bit more creamier. Bag of Cheetos and microwave taquitos. There we go. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight. I'm going to call it because I don't want this to be a 3-hour, almost a 3-hour, Captain's Table, office hours. Paul. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here tonight. If you guys did enjoy this, please hit that follow button if you're on Twitch. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Remember to enter to win a Talon, an Asperia Talon, all this month into October, !September in chat. It's going to be going until October 15th, so a while. Like queso, yeah, like queso. So, and of course, if you guys are, Raid Shadow Legends sponsored our stream on Sunday, but they still have some extension goals that I can make until next Sunday. So if you guys want to support the stream or support the channel, support me in a financial way that is not, that you can't do normally, if you try that out, try downloading it, trying it out through the very beginnings, that kind of stuff. Words are hard, especially this late. Love you guys. Like I say every time, hope to see you guys again soon. But if I don't, hope to see you someday in the black. And as always, remember, ex Historia ad Astra. Later, guys.